Hi guys, please like, share and subscribe. And if you want full course for any actuarial subject, visit theactuarialguy.com or WhatsApp on this number. Thank you.
Okay, now this is the second lecture on the Excel functions and formulae that we were covering. So in the first lecture, we had gone over some of these basic average, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, median, highest, lowest, large and small formulae. Now we'll talk about some aggregation and mathematics. Okay. So let's do this. So the first part of the question is, what is the total premium collected and total claims paid? Okay. So this is very simple. You just need to take a sum. So what I'll do is, firstly I will just copy this entire data. Either you can just copy by select Control A and Control C and then paste it. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it is that you can actually reference this data from the first sheet. So the way to reference is, you just click the cell, whatever cell you're talking about. To navigate between sheets, you can use Control Alt. Uh, Wait, let me think about this. Yeah, you can use Control plus page up and Control plus page down, right? So Control plus page up, page down. Page up takes you to the previous sheet, page down takes you to the next sheet. Okay, so you can do this, and then what you do is Control plus page up, you go to the previous sheet and then you reference it to the uh, to the cell that you want to. So you want this cell on this sheet A1, this sheet lecture 2 to be the same as the first cell, which is A1 in the first sheet. The way to do that is, you just do a Control and page up. Sorry, why is this not working? Control and page up, yes. And now you can just select whatever formula you want to select. This should have actually worked without, yeah, Control plus page up. Yeah, now you can just move your arrows to select. So I am selecting policy ID, and then you can just drag this formula downwards, so Control D, and then you can drag it rightwards, so Control R, right? So this is the entire thing you have. You obviously don't want this in bold, so you do a Control B. So you have the entire data which is referenced from the first sheet. Instead of copied, anything that changes in the first sheet changes here as well. That is the advantage. Now we go back, Alt Tab. This is something you can't do in IA exams, but I'm anyway doing it because it's very convenient. I hate that IA has banned all of these functions, especially like F2, F4, Alt Tab. If you can't do these things, it just slows you down. But well, it is what it is. It is their exam system. We need to comply. Anyway, so I want to get the total premium. So total premium, you do this, and then you want to get the sum of the premium. So use the sum formula, then you press tab, and then you select the entire premium range by doing a Control Shift down, and then you close the bracket, and that is it. You have your total premium. Similarly, you want the total claim, so you do a sum over the claim. Okay. uh, let's see next, what do you want? You want the product of the premium and claim for the first policy. Product of premium and claim for first policy. So you do you can do one of the two things. Since it's just one policy, you can just select premium, which is E2, multiplied with, so use the star thing. Star is basically shift plus 8, and then you go to the claim. So you can do it this way, or you can use a product function, which is PRODUCT, product, right? And then what you do is, you select these two, so it will just take a product. Either way, you will get the same answer. Okay, now I expand these, Alt HY, and then I format them properly. So I'll do Alt H. I want to get the currency, so N, and then I type currency, right? And then now I copy this formatting to all of my cells. Yeah. Great. I want to reduce the decimal, so Alt H9, Alt H9, right? And then I want to add borders, so Alt HBA. Okay, these things you should get used to. Alt Tab. Now, what is the total profit from policies that were renewed? Okay, now this is interesting. They are saying what is the total profit from the policies that were renewed. So now for this question, of course, uh, how is profit calculated from an actuarial point of view? Not getting into that. I am going to just simply teach you how to do things in Excel. So that is the objective. Here, given the information we have, profit is just whatever total premium I earn minus total claims I pay. That's it. No complication, no reserve, nothing. Okay. So bear with me on that, right? So I want to get the total profit on policies that were renewed. Okay. If you wanted to get the total profit in general without having this condition that you just are talking about the policies that were renewed, you will just take the sum of the premiums and you will subtract from it the sum of the claims, right? That is what you would do, and you would get your total profit. But we want to get the total profit on the policies which were renewed. So I want an additional condition that this renewed column is equal to yes. Okay. So now we need to calculate the profit for the policies that were renewed. That is this flag in column G that is renewed is equal to yes. Okay. So firstly, let's just calculate profit line by line, which would just be premium minus claim. That is your profit at a per policy level. So we'll just control D this, and this you have for all the values in this column. Now, if you want to get the profit for policies that were renewed, you take a sum if, right? This is the function that you use to sum in case a particular condition is met. Okay, so that is sum if. Now, if you see the arguments of this function sum if, you have three arguments: range, criteria, and sum range. Now, what is range? Range is the range on which you want to apply the criteria. So, the range on which I want to apply the criteria is this renewed column, right? You can either select the entire column G, or you can select just the part where the values are. Okay, ensure that the size of the range that you select is the size of the range you select for the summing as well. Okay, so let's say I select the entire column G. Now what I want to do is I want the criteria, that is the second argument. Okay, criteria here is this string yes. Whenever it matches with this string yes, the value of column G is when we are going to sum. And then the final question is, what are we going to sum? We are going to sum column H. Now you see the length of column G and column H is the same, right? If I would have selected only where column G is populated, that is till row number 51, then I would have to select column H as well up till row number 51. Okay, so now what is this formula saying? It is saying sum if column G is yes, and what do you want to sum? You want to sum H. So you're saying sum column H wherever column G is equal to yes. Okay, and then you just press enter, right? This gives you the total profit on policies that were renewed, right? Where the column G that is renewed is yes, and you're summing the profit, which is column H. Okay, so now the next function I want to discuss with you is SUMIFS. Now we have discussed SUMIF, which is applicable when you just have one condition. Okay, here the only condition was we were talking about policies that were renewed. Okay, what if I want to talk about total profit on policies, on gold policies that are renewed? Okay, meaning that I want the plan type to be gold. Okay, so there are two conditions now, not one condition. One condition is renewed, the other condition is plan type should be gold. So I need to apply SUMIFS. Okay, so again, equal to SUMIFS. Now under SUMIFS as well, what you need to do is the order of the uh, parameters here is different, right? Earlier, the first parameter you had was the criteria range, and then you had the criteria. But here you have the sum range first. So you need to select the sum range first. Let's select profit. I'm not selecting entire column H, I'm just selecting up till 51. So this I'll have to do for all of them, right? Uh, the second thing is that the second parameter is the first criteria range. This is saying criteria range 1. Okay, so the first criteria is that this renewed column takes a value yes. So the third parameter is yes, which is the first criteria. Now comma, now I can put as many criteria as I want. Now the second criteria is that plan type, which is column C, should be equal to gold. Okay, so this should be equal to gold. So that is your total profit on gold policies that were renewed. Okay, so that is how it works. So we use some ifs here. We could have also done the first calculation using a sum ifs. So if you wanted to do this same calculation using sum ifs, what you would have had to do is, see, here all I need to do is I need to change this to sum ifs. But then the order of parameters will change. The first parameter is now the sum range, which is column H. Okay. The second parameter is the range on which the condition is applied, and the third parameter is the condition. So you get the same answer. So the thing is that even with a single condition, you can use SUMIFS, right? Or SUMIF, that is your call. The order of parameters is different. With multiple condition, you will have to use SUMIFS. Okay, that's the idea. Let's move on. Okay, now good practice in using functions like these is either you used fixed ranges, named ranges, or you use entire columns, so that when you drag these formulae or copy them, the range itself doesn't change. So what I'll do is, uh, here instead of using these ranges, I'll just fix the ranges. Okay, in case of II, you will have to either use named ranges or use dollar signs, right? Remember that. But here I'm just fixing it. So yeah. So that's how this works. Now let's say instead of total profit, I want to get the average profit. So all of these problems, let's say here, are slightly different. Let's say instead of total profit, they want the mean or the average profit. So what I want to do is replace all the totals with averages. So yeah, this is what I have. Instead of total, I want average. What you can do is, instead of using the sum formula, you can use the average formula. Instead of using SUMIF, you can use AVERAGEIF, and instead of using SUMIFS, you can use AVERAGEIFS. So let me do that. So one quick way to do this is that within these formulae as well, you can replace sum with average. Okay, instead of writing them down again and again, you can replace sum with average, and this should be look in formula should be selected, right? So that Excel knows that you want to replace within these formulae, and then you do a replace all. Okay, so and what happened is, see, all of the sum got replaced with average. SUMIF got replaced with AVERAGEIF, and SUMIFS got replaced with AVERAGEIFS. Right, so that is how it works. Right. Now, one thing if I want to do is I want to create like a cross tabulation of uh, this. Let's say I want like gold, silver, bronze, and I have renewed and not renewed. Okay, so let's merge this. That is Alt H M C. So this is renewed or not. Let's say I want to do this, yes and no. Okay, So this is a kind of cross tabulation I want to create. That is, for renewed policies that were gold, what is the average profit? Or let's say, let's not get make it too complicated. Let's just talk about average premium. What is the average premium for renewed policies that were gold and yes, right? And then what is it for yes and silver, what is it for no and silver, and no and bronze, and yes and bronze. All these 6 values I want to get, right? So let's try to do this. How do you do this? So I want to get the average premium. Okay, how do you do this? So you use again average ifs, because there are 2 conditions. Now what is the range you want to average? You want to average the premium range. Actually, let's do one thing. Let's give a name to the premium range, right? So I want to name this entire range as premium. Okay, so now I have a name for my premium range. So I want to do average ifs. What range do I want to average? The premium range. Okay, what is the criteria? The first criteria is that this column, okay, has the value gold. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to use this M6 so that I can just drag the formula. Okay, but what I'll do is, firstly, this range needs to be fixed. Okay, so I'll do an F4. And second thing I will do is that this gold value also needs to be fixed. But if I drag it down, I want to drag it down to silver, bronze, right? So I want to drag it down. When I like populate the entire thing, you will see how I do that. But I want the column to be fixed, right? Because when I drag it rightward to this no condition, then I don't want the column to drag rightward from M to N. That's not what I want. I just want to drag downward. I want that flexibility. What I'm doing is I'm making the column fixed. Okay, so that's why I've just put $1 sign. I've not put $2 signs like this. Just $1 sign, which means just the column is fixed, right? So for this gold, silver, bronze, you want to drag downward. So the row is not fixed, but the column is fixed. Similarly, for this renewed thing, let's take this range, let's make it fixed. So we press F4, and then what I want to do is I want to want this range to have a value which is equal to this renewed is equal to yes. But this time I want to make the row fixed, because it's all in row number 5, right? It's not in row number 6 or 7. So when I drag rightward, I want to go to no, but I don't want to drag downward. So I want the row to be fixed, right? So this is how you can do it. And now the beauty of this is you do Control R and you do Control D, all of these formulae fill themselves. Okay, so that is how you can do it. You just, like when you have a cross tabulation like this, for the column you can fix the column, for the row condition you can fix the condition, row, fix the row, and then you can just drag. Okay, what have we effectively done? We have just said that listen, I want the premium where my C column takes a value gold and my G column takes a value yes, right? Here we are saying take my average premium where my C column takes this value and my G column takes this value, so on and so forth. Okay, now all of these need to have the same formatting. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this formatting to all of them. Okay, wait, that did not work. For some reason, okay, let's do Alt H9, Alt H9. Okay, right, now we have all of this, right? So this is the average premium for all of them. Let's say instead of renewed, your condition was average premium where the amount is actually greater than equal to the claim amount is greater than, let's say, 5,000 rupees. Okay, if you wanted the average premium for the cases where the claim is greater than 5,000 rupees, let's say how will you do that? Okay, so instead of renewed condition, here I had claim amount, and here you had less than equal to 5,000, or maybe you can just say like less than 5,000. Let's say it's written and it's more than or equal to 5,000. Let's say this is what you were working with, Alt HW, right? Let's say this is what we had. So how would you do this? So now the thing is that this 5,000 is, let's say I've written it here, this is my claim threshold. Now the thing is that I want these gold condition, gold, silver, bronze condition to be the same in all of these formulae, right? I want them to be gold, silver, bronze. But for claim amount, the condition that I want is here in this first column, I want less than equal to 5,000. Second column, I want more than equal to 5,000. So here, how to change this condition? The way to change it is the second condition, this G column. Now you're not applying a condition on G column. So this entire formula is getting edited. I want to apply a condition on F column. Okay. Now this condition, what is this condition? It is that, so I want to teach you how to write it. It is that it's less than, okay, and this claim amount, and I'll make it fixed. Okay, so you use less than this way. You have to type out less than symbol and you have to press and, so that these two get concatenated. Okay, what is effectively happening here? See, I'll show you. If you just write this out, it just gives you less than 5,000. So this thing, I have effectively constructed it here, right? I've constructed less than 5,000 here. Okay, so this is how you do it, right? You just write this less than symbol and you do and whatever 5,000, right? So you put this condition and then you can just drag it downward, because this anyway R12 is fixed. Okay, and you can also drag rightward. Wait, yeah, I want to make this range fixed as well, so this has to be F4, and now I can drag it downward. Yes. Okay, so this is your average premium for where the claim amount is less than 5,000, and then for more than, you can drag it rightward, but you need to change this condition. You need to change this to greater than equal to, and then you drag downward. Okay, so this is your average premium amount for gold, silver and bronze categories where the claim amount is less than 5,000, and this is where it is more than 5,000. Okay, so this is how you create these sort of cross tabulations. Okay, so that's something I wanted to discuss. Now let's finally move to what the question is asking. What is the weighted average claim weighted by premium? Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to use premiums as weights, and you want to use get the average of claims, right? So you want to multiply every claim with a premium and then divide by the sum of premiums, right? Because premiums are weights, right? So if you want to multiply and add, right, one way to do it is obviously you can just just multiply. You just multiply and then you add. Okay, and then you say, okay, I want to take a sum, and this is multiplication and addition, but this is a longer way to do it, right? You multiply it and then you add it. You can instead use a formula which is called a sum product. So this is sum product, okay, which multiplies and adds. So what the argument that goes into it is that you give the first range, which is premium, you give the second range, which is your claims, it just gets you the sum product. right? It first takes a product and then sums. That's why it's called a sum product. You see this value is same as this value. Okay, so that's the first part, and then you want to divide it by the sum of premiums, right? In order to calculate the weighted average, you will need to do that. Okay, so you want to divide it by the sum of premiums. That's it. This is your answer. Sorry, I do a control X and I do a control V. Okay, alt H9, alt H9, alt H9, alt H9. This is weighted average claim by using premium as weights. Okay, that is how it works. Alt HPA. So this is how you work with these things, right? Let's move on. Okay, now I've added a couple more questions which are very relevant to this topic itself. So firstly, how many policies are from Delhi, if that's the question? So I've talked about SUMIF and AVERAGEIF. I need to talk about COUNTIF now. Okay, so as the name suggests, it's very similar to SUMIF and AVERAGEIF. It just counts instead of summing or averaging, right? So total number of policies from Delhi. Total number of policies from Delhi. Okay, let's do that. So this is count if, right? And you want to get the count if. You want to select the entire city thing and then you want to add Delhi. That's the condition. Okay, count if takes the range and then the condition that is applied. So 11 policies are from Delhi. Okay, let's move on. What is the total claim amount for gold plan policies? Okay, this I think we already did, right? Yeah. So total claim amount for gold plan policies would just be this, but you can just apply a SUMIF. So that is very, very straightforward, right? Yeah, total profit on gold policies. See here, that were renewed. Okay, I did it with multiple conditions and all that, but this you can do. Okay, so this is something, this is homework for you because I've already done very similar questions. How many policyholders are aged above 50 years of age, right? So let's modify this question a bit. How many policyholders are aged above 50 are from Mumbai? Okay, so this is a count ifs question. Two conditions are applied. They have to be aged above 50 and they have to be from Mumbai. So let's do this. Policy holders from Mumbai aged above 50. Okay, so two conditions means we apply count ifs. Now count ifs, what are the arguments that it takes? It takes whatever are the criteria ranges and whatever are the criterias, right? So firstly, let's start with the first criteria, which is city being Mumbai. So you select this range. The second argument is what is the criteria. So Mumbai is the criteria, the first criteria. And then the second criteria is applied to what? The age thing, age column. So we select the age column and then we say greater than 50. Okay, and then we close. So 4 policies, policyholders above the age of 50 are from Mumbai. Okay, so that's how you do it. And how many policies were renewed? So this is count of policies renewed would just be equal to count if this column is yes. Okay, that's it. 24. So this is how it works. Now let's yeah, that's it for this one. So I discussed average if, count if, average ifs, COUNTIFs, SUMIFs, discuss sum product and sum, right? So quite a lot of things were discussed in this video. Yeah, just be careful while you do all of this, right? And then we'll keep on using them in the course. Thank you.